The successful manager of a new beat group surveys his latest product. The Stray are about to be launched, and there's a large investment at stake. Not that this businessman seems to need a bob or two. There are diamonds on his fingers, and he drives an expensive car. There are high hopes that the group's first record, When You Went Away, will reach the hit parade, which is appropriate enough, for he's been away himself. Once this man was in a group of his own, a group called the Kray brothers. His name is Charlie Kray. Charles James Kray has recently been a guest of Her Majesty's government, where he earned the nickname Champagne Charlie from other non-paying residents. He's back home in the East End of London after serving 7 years for being an accessory to a brutal gangland killing. His younger twin brothers, Reginald and Ronald Kray, are each serving life for murder. Today, Charlie's starting a new life. Apart from running a beat group, he's just written a book, Me and My Brothers, which is published this weekend. The Krays were brought up here in a back street of the East End. Their terraced home in Valence Road was knocked down a few years ago.
It was a small terraced house with a lounge, a kitchen, and 3 bedrooms. And there was my mother, my father, and my twin brothers.
From the volatile environment of the East End of London, Charlie and his twin brothers moved into petty crime.
Did you or did you not run a protection racket?
I didn't personally, and I know the twins didn't. They may have done. I'll tell you, can I explain it? One thing is this. If the twins, as they did, had a gambling club which was called a Spill in the East End, that's the slang name for it, and someone opened one a few miles away, they would automatically come to the twins and ask them to have a share in it, because this way they knew they would have no trouble. I mean, yeah, obviously...
Did they think they would have trouble if they didn't go to the twins?
Oh, no, I don't mean this in that way. I mean, they would have had trouble anyway from people. This is how they were in the East End in them days. I mean, if the person opened a spill, then you get trouble. I'm not saying to go into demanding money, but you get people in there having fights and as went on. And they went to the twins and asked them if they would have a share.
It's a subtle form of protection, isn't it?
It is really, yeah, but I mean, it's not the way, they don't go in demanding. I mean, I don't say, I'm not trying to make an excuse here, if there was a spill opened the next street to them, then they would go and say, what are you doing? You mustn't open here. Well, you're 1 street away.
Today, after serving 7 years, Charlie's an East End celebrity. Around here, the name Kray still means something. He's regarded as some kind of folk hero.
What are you doing, Kim? Where are you going, darling? Where are you working? Where's your mum?
She's upstairs, yeah.
Where are you working?
To be fair to Charlie, he was never a violent man. He had no control over the twins in later life, and he tried with astonishing failure to steer them into legitimate business.
No, but why did they suddenly act like this when in fact they had all the money they could use, they've got smart clubs in the West End, and suddenly they go right back to the gutter again?
Well, your guess is as good as mine regarding that. I don't even know that. It just happened, the situation happened, and as it does in the East End. And
well, the police theory is that the whole organisation was based on terror, and that in order to keep the sort of terror going, acts of terror had to be committed. In other words, the myth of the Krays had to be kept going, and the only way to do that was to murder people.
Not really, because they had everything, as you said, after this. They had legitimate business, they had money coming in. This wasn't really so.
But the base was terror, the base was the gutter.
Well, in a circle, but outside that, I mean, you've seen, as I've seen, that people, I mean, you go down to any road in the East End and you meet people and they say, how's the twins? They've got so much respect for them. It's because it was in that certain, you live in a jungle and you behave as you're in the jungle. That's all I can say.
Champagne Charlie is my name. Champagne Charlie is my name. Good for any game at night.
For the future, Charlie, with a name like Kray, will continue to face publicity. Indeed, as the manager of a pop group, he's courting it. But in reality, his life has changed. He's happy to drink in an East End pub, but he lives in a rented flat miles away in a country town.
First main job, he did lots more, but that was the first really.
The irony of his new respectability is that his flat was burgled last weekend. But what happened to all the money Charlie and the twins made from their legitimate and their illegitimate businesses? Is any of it left? Is it possible that Charlie is minding money for the twins for when they come out of jail, that the firm is still in business?
This is rubbish. I mean, my mother and father live in a council masonette, and we respect them and love them. And if we had money, they wouldn't be sitting here, they'd be living somewhere nice.
What do you think of Nipper Reid, the policeman who more than anybody else had a hand in putting you and your brothers behind bars?
I don't really think about him. I mean, if it wasn't him, it'd have been somebody else. Personally, he was a bit enthusiastic, too enthusiastic, I think, regarding myself. But
well, he was enthusiastic, perhaps
generally, yeah.
to your detriment, but perhaps he was a very good guardian of law.
Of course. But I mean, I don't really I don't think about him, because if it wasn't him, it could have been somebody else. So it doesn't really. He's retired now, anyway, isn't he?
Everyone has. Have you?
I have retired. I never started.
When eventually, and presumably the day will come sooner or later, the twins are released, all three of you will be at liberty again. Will the firm start up again?
Oh no, that's rubbish. I mean, for instance, when a man comes out when he's serving a life in prison, he's released, he's forever on parole, he's on licence for the rest of his life. And if he makes one mistake, and one mistake only, he can go back to prison. So obviously they know this. And they won't ever make it. They just want to be left alone and keep to themselves and carry on their way. I mean, obviously they want to come out and speak with my mother and father. I mean, if they live in the country, wherever they live, they just want to carry on from that way. I mean, they've been offered a business when they come out by a good friend, and an honest man I may add, not a criminal. And so they'll be okay, regarding a living anyway.
What about yourself? What are you intending to do with your life?
As I said before, I just want to be happy, and I'm with a girl now. We're getting married, I hope, in the new year. And I just want to carry on as I am with the show business. I've got a group, as you know. And just be happy and contented, that's all right. My mother is, and everybody else is. That's all I want to do.
And be an ordinary bloke?
I hope so, yes.
With a lot of memories?
I've got a lot of memories, yeah, many. Good and bad.
Do you regret the bad?
Yeah, well, I regret knowing or all the things in the past, not what I've done, but I just regret everything happened. I'd rather it been in a different perspective to it is now. You know, I wanted my twins to be, I mean, they trained and very hard, and I thought they were going to be famous instead of infamous. That's what I preferred more than it is now.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly, moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. I hope we see you